the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in a binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark, unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No mic, no fame, just the sound we crave. Tune and turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just a vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. In shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just a beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go.
Indeed, phonetic eons can measure the physical, acoustic and articulatory parameters of speech. Syntactic eons and semanticists, and even phonologists, can't measure the physical properties of the objects they study, so they have to measure variables of speech production, perception, and recall, and construct theories that relate these things causally to structure, with due regard to the contextual factors that we know also impact them. One thing that this body of experimental work has shown us that context, pragmatics, processing effects, and variation are everywhere. Linguists have been trained to ignore those things in acceptability judgments and to abstract away from them in grammatical theory. But processing in particular turned out to provide explanations for constraints on extraction that rival the purely syntactic principles that were privileged by syntactic eons since Hajro's 1967 dissertation, as shown by Tom Wasso and others. Paul Kiparsky. Paul Kiparsky is a highly influential Finnish linguist and professor of linguistics at Stanford University, widely recognized for his extensive contributions across various subfields of linguistics. He is particularly renowned for his foundational work in theoretical phonology, where he introduced concepts such as the elsewhere principle and phonological opacity, along with its specific interactions like feeding, bleeding, counterfeeding, and counterbleeding. He also developed the pivotal frameworks of lexical phonology and morphology (LPM) and its subsequent evolution, stratal optimality theory. Beyond phonology, Kiparsky is a leading figure in historical linguistics and the study of language change. Thanks for reading No Mic Podcast scribed by Facelesslingjutsu. Subscribe for free to receive new posts and support my work. Paul Kiparsky, born René Paul Victor Kiparsky on January 28, 1941, in Helsinki, Finland, came from a long line of scholars. His father, Valentin Kiparsky, was a prominent linguist and Slavist, and his family history includes distinguished academics and medical professionals. His early interest in language was sparked by the linguistically diverse environment he grew up in. He spoke German, Finnish, and Swedish with different family members and friends, often finding himself translating or switching between these languages. As a child, he was fascinated by the many varieties of Finnish and Swedish he encountered during summers spent on farms. This early exposure to linguistic diversity fostered a deep curiosity about how languages work. His academic journey led him to study at Alabama College, now the University of Montevallo, the University of Helsinki, and the University of Minnesota before he pursued his doctoral studies at MIT, where he received his PhD in 1965 under the supervision of Morris Halle. It was during this period that he began to lay the groundwork for his highly influential contributions to linguistics, particularly with his dissertation Phonological Change. His continued dedication to historical linguistics flowed directly from the theoretical foundations laid in his dissertation. Kiparsky meticulously expanded upon the application of generative principles to the understanding of language change, advancing the powerful argument that observed historical changes in language are not arbitrary, but rather reflect deeper, inherent structural properties of the linguistic system itself. Seminal works from this era, such as his 1968 paper Linguistic Universals and Linguistic Change, critically explored the profound and often bidirectional relationship between universal grammatical principles, the innate constraints on human language, and the diverse ways in which languages evolve over time. He relentlessly pursued investigations into the precise mechanisms of sound change, including the subtle yet powerful force of analogical change, always striving to explain these dynamic processes within the rigorous confines of a formal linguistic theory. Simultaneously, this period saw Kiparsky initiating his substantial and ultimately monumental contributions to the scholarly study of Sanskrit grammar, with a particular focus on the towering work of the ancient Indian grammarian Panini. His deep engagement with Panini's Adhyayi was more than a historical exercise, it served to brilliantly demonstrate how such ancient grammatical traditions could, in fact, offer remarkably profound and fresh insights into modern linguistic theory. Kiparsky uniquely viewed Panini's intricate work as a remarkably complete and sophisticated generative grammar, predating the modern concept by millennia. While his celebrated book Pini as a Variationist would be published later, the intellectual seeds for this deep dive into Panini's genius were firmly sown during these formative post-dissertation years. One of his most enduring and transformative contributions emerged in the realm of phonological theory, where he spearheaded the development of lexical phonology and morphology (LPM). This groundbreaking framework, which rapidly gained widespread recognition and adoption throughout the 1970s and into the 1980s, put forth a revolutionary proposal, that phonological rules do not apply in a single, undifferentiated block, but rather operate at distinct levels or strata within the lexicon. Crucially, these phonological applications were conceptualized as interacting intimately and intricately with morphological processes, such as derivation and inflection. This nuanced, layered approach represented a monumental leap forward, providing a far more structured and coherent account of the complex interplay between the sound system of a language and its word formation mechanisms, moving decisively beyond the simpler, more linear models that had previously prevailed. Within this very same period, Kiparsky also conceptualized and introduced the highly influential notions of opacity, encompassing intricate phonological interactions like feeding, bleeding, counterfeeding, and counterbleeding, and the elsewhere principle. These concepts are not merely historical footnotes, they remain absolutely central to sophisticated phonological analysis even today, providing the analytical tools to describe and explain why certain phonological rules appear to block or override others. His 1973 papers, Abstractness, Opacity and Global Rules and Elsewhere in Phonology, stand as particularly iconic representations of the profound theoretical advancements he forged during this intensely creative period. This initial, explosive period of creativity paved the way for a sustained and influential career, with Kiparsky's subsequent output continuously building upon and refining these foundational ideas. For example, his work in 1976 with linguistic aspects of the poetic formula began to explore the intersection of linguistic structure with literary phenomena, foreshadowing his later deep dives into metrics. In 1979, collaborating with Morris Halle on internal constituent structure and accent in Russian words. He continued to address core phonological issues in specific languages. The early 1980s were particularly significant for formally articulating LPM, as seen in his 1982 paper Lexical Morphology and Phonology, a pivotal publication that defined the framework. That same year, word formation and the lexicon further elaborated on the lexicon's crucial role. His ongoing dedication to Finnish phonology was evident in 1984's syllable structure in Finnish phonology with S.J. Kaiser, showcasing the application of his theories to his native tongue. 1985's Some Consequences of Lexical Phonology explored the broader theoretical implications of LPM. Entering the late 1980s and 1990s, Kiparsky continued to refine his phonological models and expand his historical linguistic insights. His 1989 contribution Sprung Rhythm to the volume Meter and Rhythm, which he co-edited, continued his pioneering work in generative metrics. His deep engagement with Panini was re-emphasized in 1991 with Economy and the Construction of the Shivasutras, and in 1993 with his Paninian Linguistics Encyclopedia entry. In historical syntax, he made key contributions like 1994's Indo-European Origins of Germanic Syntax and 1990's IXS The Shift to Head Initial VP in Germanic, meticulously charting syntactic changes across language families. His work also touched on morphological processes like 1997's remarks on denominal verbs and theoretical phonological concepts like 1997's The Rise of Positional Licensing. His ongoing interest in the linguistic underpinnings of poetry was evident in 1997's The Nature of Verse and Its Consequences for the Mixed Form, co-authored with Kristen Hansen. The turn of the millennium saw a continued outpouring of influential work. In 1998, Aspect and Event Structure in Vedic and Partitive Case and Aspect showcased his work at the syntax-semantics interface, while Seaver's Law as prosodic optimization provided a novel phonological explanation for a classic historical sound law. He revisited core phonological concepts in 2000 with opacity and cyclicity and showed his theoretical evolution in analogy as optimization, hinting at his move towards optimality theory principles. His detailed analyses of Finnish continued with 2001's Structural Case in Finnish and 2003's Finnish Noun Inflection. He explored the syntax of clitics in 2002 with clitics and clause structure with Cleo Kandorovdi, and in 2004 for late medieval Greek. His Panini scholarship remained active, as seen in 2002's On the Architecture of Panini's Grammar. Other notable contributions from this period include 2002's Syllables and Moras in Arabic, 2003's Towards a Typology of Disharmony with Karl Pajosalu on vowel harmony, and 2005's Blocking and Periphrasis in Inflectional Paradigms. Kiparsky's intellectual vigor persisted well into the 21st century, yielding further significant contributions. 2000's IXS Amphichronic Linguistics versus Evolutionary Phonology was a landmark paper, proposing a crucial framework for integrating synchronic and diachronic linguistic analysis. He continued his work on Finnish with 2000's IXS Iambic Inversion in Finnish and his Panini scholarship with 2007's Panini is slick, but he isn't mean. In 2008, Universal's Constrained Change results in typological generalizations articulated a core principle of his approach to historical linguistics. The development of his stratal optimality theory was further detailed in 2008's Finno-Swedish Quantity, Contrast in Stratal OT. His work on metrics continued with 2009's review of meter in poetry and 2011's Poetries in Contact, Arabic, Persian, and Urdu. Even in the most recent decade, Kiparsky has remained at the forefront of the field. 2012's Grammaticalization as Optimization offered a new perspective on how grammatical elements arise. His work on Panini continued with 2012's on Panini and the generative capacity of contextualized replacement systems. He contributed to comprehensive handbooks, such as 2015's Phonologization in the Handbook of Historical Phonology and 2015's Straddle OT, a synopsis and FAQs, which synthesized his work on that framework. In 2016, Leibov, Sound Change, and Phonological Theory highlighted his engagement with sociolinguistic approaches to sound change. His ongoing research on specific languages is exemplified by 2017's The Morphology of the Basque Auxiliary and 2018's Notes on Finnish Non-Finite Clauses. The year 2018 also saw Indo-European origins of the Greek hexameter, marrying his historical and metrical interests. More recently, 2020's Metered Verse and Linguistics Then and Now, The View from Nels demonstrate his continued reflective role. His 2021 work Phonology to the Rescue, Nez Perce Morphology revisited an old problem with new theoretical tools. His continued prominence is reflected in the 2022 interview by Ashvini Deo and his entry on Panini in the Handbook of the History of Phonology. Most recently, in 2023, his A Straddle OT perspective on vowel harmony and domains of vowel harmony in the Oxford Handbook of Vowel Harmony show his continuous application and refinement of his Straddle OT framework to core phonological phenomena. Finally, his 2023 retrospect and prospect in the Annual Review of Linguistics serves as a capstone, offering a personal reflection on the field's past and future from one of its most seminal figures. This remarkable catalogue underscores Kiparsky's sustained impact and his intellectual journey from foundational concepts to their ongoing refinement and application across a vast array of linguistic questions and languages. I'll give an example. In a famous broadside against linguistic universals, Nick Evans and Stefan Vlevinson correctly pointed out that Principle B of binding theory is false as stated. Even Old English allows pronominals to be coreferential with a subject in their binding domain, even stressed ones, as in she first dressed her, and then the children. But in a paper on the typology of anaphora I had already provided a parametric understanding of how pronominal systems are put together, which predicts the existence of Old English type anaphoric systems, and in particular of non-obviative pronominals, which are found all over the world. It is now undisputed that linguistic theory cannot be based on the study of a single language and that typological variation must therefore be taken into account from the beginning. Phonology has always recognized this, and fortunately syntax and semantics have now in large part done so as well. Paul Kiparsky. Awards: Alexander von Humboldt Prize 1993. Senior Fellowship of the Zukunftskolleg at the University of Konstanz 2011. Swedish Academy Linguist Prize 2012. Neil and Sarah Smith Medal for Linguistics from the British Academy 2020. He also served as Collitz Professor of the Linguistic Society of America 1973.
Mics on the floor where they drop like bombs. Faceless voices running all the cons. Digital whispers in a binary night. No light, no face, pure sound, no sight. Stories unfold in the dark unscrolled. Echoes of silence, secrets untold. Waves crash loud in this audio cave. No mic, no frame, just the sound we crave. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Hidden in shadows, voices untamed. No need for spotlight, no claim to fame. Just the beat of life in a stream of thought. Every word a punchline, no need to be taught. Just listen close, no visuals needed. Raw conversation, unprocessed, unseated. Feel the pulse in every sentence said. No No distractions, just thoughts in your head. Whispers of the streets, rumbling through. Faceless yet vivid, a world in view. No mic, just souls, connecting in flow. Pure and raw, let the rhythm go. Pure and raw. Pure and raw. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Tune in, turn up, let the silence break. Raw, unfiltered, hear the earthquake. No mic needed, just the vibe that's real. Faceless words you can touch and feel. Pure and raw.
Play.